to have those kingdom conversations.
Thank you and welcome to Kingdom Conversations with Dr. Shirley and Leandra, where each week, through the grace of God, we hope to inspire women to thrive in their purpose-driven lives through lessons learned and a whole lot of wisdom.
Hello again, world. Welcome to Kingdom Conversations. I'm Dr. Shirley.
And I am Leandra Williams, and we are so grateful to have you all here with us, joining us for another week. Thank you so much for tuning in week after week. It means so much to us. Shirley and I have just been having a ton of fun with all of these conversations. We've been touching on so many important topics, one of which I think all of you women are definitely going to appreciate this topic because I think it relates to more than a handful of us, and that is working moms. Shirley and I are both working moms, and it just takes a lot to be a working mom. And let's not take away from the stay-at-home moms either, because that is also a job, right? So what does it mean to be a working mom? What does it look like, Shirley? How do we balance this? Why don't we get to clock out when we get home? What's going on here? Why is all this stuff on our plate?
So what a working mom looks like is a chicken with her head cut off. Running around aimlessly, just touching everything.
We're just
sorry, is that just my life? Is that just me?
No,
got it together.
You're not alone. I think some days look better. Some days we might look, ready to go. Some days we have the chicken with the head cut off. Some days where,
when you think you're like having a productive day, like still things blow up.
Don't let one thing happen and now your whole day is off track, right? For the rest of the day, you feel so lost. You're just like, what was I going to do? Nothing even went according to plan. Now I feel like I'm unaccomplished. We beat ourselves up as moms and as working moms, and we're trying to thrive in all of these areas. I think that's what it boils down to.
Honestly, and like I feel it all started, and I can't speak for everybody because I am young, but like, when women were not allowed to work, and then we got the opportunity to work, and then we started stopped like, having like secretarial dreams, which is absolutely fine, executive assistants, hello. But, some want to be like directors and VPs and CEOs, and when you get there, you are taking the whole world on your shoulders while pushing children out and then raising those children to be responsible citizens. Oh my gosh, Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
I think of the recent article that came out with Serena Williams last year. Like that hit me so hard. That touched me in so many ways. Because
why? What was it about? Because I did not see that.
It's her truth. It is her truth that she already is married. She has one child that she absolutely loves and adores and is just the cutest thing ever, right? And she is also like world-renowned tennis player Serena freaking Williams, right? Like she's unstoppable, right? Like
the resume.
Trophies upon trophies. Like, oh my gosh, right? She is phenomenal. She is the dream. But she wanted to have another child, right? And she told herself something has to go. She has to quit tennis. Not because her husband was stopping her. Not because I don't even think her child was stopping her. But because in order for her to play tennis, she cannot have this 9-month stomach in front of her. She cannot physically do both. She tried it, right? She tried it once. Obviously, she had to go on maternity leave, but then came back with the, right? It's like she didn't even have a child. She came back with the quickness.
The bounce was quick.
The
snap back was quick.
I don't know why her reason, and she mentioned a few different, right? I think it's just a million little things, right? It's a million little things that contributed to her reason to now, like, I don't know. She says she retired. We'll see. She may come back like Tom Brady.
She may come back. doing something else. It doesn't necessarily have to be tennis, right? But there's other seasons that I think she can do. She has a lot to offer.
But I just wonder, like, right, is it, again, I don't know what's going on in her household, and I'm not speaking for her. I'm actually putting myself in her shoes. Is it because it takes a lot of toll on your body, right? First pregnancy was easy for me. The second pregnancy was like, huh? What? Like, I swear, God be like making the first pregnancy like easy breezy, so it makes you want to have a second one.
It's a trick. It's a trick. It's definitely a trick. There is a plot twist in there, ladies, okay? And I'm telling you right now, it's a bait and switch kind of thing. It's a bait and switch kind of thing.
It really is. So I don't know if it was, like maybe the second pregnancy and she's a little bit older now. Like, your body ain't like it used to be. No matter how much how great of a shape you're in, your bones are like, girl, we're 30, okay? We're not the same. So I don't know if it's physical. I don't know if it.
I think she's closer to like 40.
It might have been like, if it was me, it might have been like, I love my daughter and my husband so much. This family is amazing. I wish I could be cloned and experience tennis and experience every single moment of my child and my husband. That could have been the reason, because if I was in her shoes, that's how it would feel. Listen, like the mom guilt, I'm totally over it, because Lily and I have had these conversations where like our children, and I'm sure your children too, would be like, we don't go anywhere. We don't spend time together. Could have swore I took you to Disney World, Legoland, and the trampoline park, where I got on the trampoline with you. I could have swore we did all of this in the last 2 weeks, but you feel like we've done nothing and you're bored. Okay. All right. So I'm over
the mom guilt is
y'all
real.
got selective amnesia. I'm over you. I do plenty.
It's definitely real. That's a real thing right there. But I know that we still have mom guilt sometimes, right? Because we're just, I mean, you're talking about Serena Williams and all of her accomplishments and her trying to balance that in, because she's had years of not having to have a family and children and a husband, and I'm sure in a lot of ways she can afford probably having a nanny and a this and a that. So how do we as regular peeps here, okay, how do we juggle all this, you know, and live and carry on? And I think I had to personally, if you're saying yes to something, you're saying no to something else, and I had to be okay with that. And I was okay with that. And I think I wanted to start being, as a realtor, I do have that flexibility where I can make my own schedule. Of course, there's still things that pop up that run into, you know, it gets really busy sometimes where it's not that I'm making my own schedule. Yes, I'm making my schedule, yes, but there's a lot of things that I need to fit in that schedule. And I think that we have to start looking at it and saying, okay, if I'm working, I'm working. If I'm at home and I'm taking care of the kids, I'm at home taking care of the kids. That's what I had to do, because it was becoming where I was trying to multitask. You know, I was trying to do everything all at once. I was trying to do it all together. Like, it's one thing. This is one project. And that was not working for me. That was working against me and making me even more tired. And I think when we become tired, that's when everything feels even more of a job, and we're no longer appreciative or grateful for our jobs, our opportunities, our family, our children, because we're so depleted, and we have to figure out this balance. I know Shirley doesn't use that word, but
I don't like it, because
I do balance.
We had this whole conversation. I'm like, balance looks like this. You're given equal, 50 to your family, 50 to your work. I was like, there's no such thing. I was like, sometimes it's 90-10 family and work, and sometimes, you flip it. I was like, there's no such thing as balance. I think for me, what I had already made it up in my mind that family is first. Like, I would go into a job and I'm like, listen, I don't know what the calendar is, but I'm going to every child's recital, every game. And if you don't like it, fire me.
Yeah.
Like family was so important to
Yeah.
me. But mind you, I am very career driven. You can't tell me nothing. I do want to be CEO. It's just that simple. I don't know. I like had a timeline that I wrote. I'm like, okay, when I turn 50, my daughter, my youngest, will be entering college. 50 seems like an appropriate age to be CEO. Did I need to be Mark Zuckerberg at 20 something? Started my own company? That would have been ideal, right? When I had when I had a little spring in my step, right? I'm a little young. I can do all of these things. But with age comes wisdom too,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You know, working
And
with
you
different
need
personalities,
that.
learning how to
Yeah.
lead people. So, 50, I think that's a cool age to be running my own business,
Yeah.
running my own company. I think that's appropriate, but family was always going to be prioritized. And that's the thing. What do you prioritize? I remember one woman saying, like, when something is a priority for you, you put it on your calendar, or however way you remind yourself, alarm, whatever the case is, like you make it a priority. So
Yes.
what are you prioritizing? And also for me, because I do work a 9 to 5, I don't work 90 hours like Miss Lee.
It be feeling like 90 hours sometimes.
Listen,
it really
I
does.
know her hours because we were sending her offers at 10 p.m.
And that's a shift, sometimes it is like that, sometimes it's not, but it's expensive, but you get to, so there's a difference when you're working around the clock, and then some people, you have a time where you can be done and you close it and you're not taking work home with you.
Well, but then I have my networking events. Because you've got to build. If you want to get to the next position, you have to network, put yourself out there, kind of market yourself, right? That's why, like you sit on these boards or you sit on these nonprofits because like they mean something to you, right? Like that's your way of paying it forward or whatever. So I was also doing these things after work, but somehow by the grace of God, it worked in a way that, okay, 1 week out of the month, mommy is gone till 8 o'clock. That 1 week out of the month. The rest of the week, I'm home, you got me or whatever. So like, can we make this work, people? Husband, can we?
That's balance. That is balance. So Shirley doesn't believe in balance, but I do. I believe in balance. So for you balancing queens out there, okay, I just want to say that Shirley and I had this conversation, and she's like, well, I don't know if she said I don't do balance, or I don't remember how you said it, Shirley. But you were like, what is balance?
No,
or
it's
something
just my
like
definition
that.
when I look at balance and
you see it as
like
equal.
50,
you see it as completely, it's leveled. It's completely equal.
And
I get what you're saying because you think it's supposed to balance on this beam of like this, and it's
because I'm
equal.
such a visual learner. That's how I see
and
it.
And I'm more so like the balance always moves. Like sometimes it's more up here, sometimes this is more up here, sometimes it's level, sometimes it is. But I think what the focus is, what I take away from that, I think is more so driven on the making sure you're being intentional. What you said to bounce off of that is your priorities.
Yes.
And I will never forget, this news anchor said to me, and this was a few years ago, this is when I decided to change how I focus in on certain things. She said, she's a news anchor, she was very popular, very busy woman, and she was leaving the news anchor show. And she said, you're going to fill my seat here. You're going to fill my seat at the news event. You're going to find somebody. You're going to get the news. You're going to always know what the weather is. Like, this seat right here will be filled. But nobody is going to be a wife to my husband, and nobody is going to be a mother to my children. And it's hard when we have to feel like we're choosing between the two because we're trying to thrive on all three aspects. We don't want to fail in any way. But if you are giving 100% always to work, then obviously there's going to be some depletion on the other two ends. And if you're giving your all to your children and your family, then obviously work sometimes kind of takes a back seat. And so if I'm a realtor, I run my own business per se, right? We can say that fairly. And I do feel like I prioritize my family first. That doesn't mean that my clients take a back seat or anything like that. What that means is I know what my priorities are, and I work around that, because my home, my children, my husband, that is my focus first. Yes, women, we need to contribute to the household financially. Yes, we need to fulfill our own career things, and it's not just about being a wife and a mom. It's about whatever your priority is. It's about whatever you feel is most comfortable. But this is the season I'm in right now. Mm-hmm. Shirley, this is the season you're in right now. Yeah. We're moms. You want to be CEO when you're 50, right? So that will be your season to be your CEO, because your duty that God gave you as your job was to be a mom. And when you fulfill that, then okay, that's okay for you.
And it means more to me than anything. But I once you start having children, and I had them when I was young, like 26 and 30. So I remember watching the movie Sex and the City, and Miranda, who is this
that show,
right? Top lawyer, had a son, and she said something so profound, and it stuck with me to this day. And she was like, I love being a mom, but being a mom isn't enough. And when she said that, I was like, that's okay. Like, that is okay. I feel seen right now in this moment in the theater. Like, it's okay. Being a mom for me is never going to be enough. It never will be. I know who I am. I am such a go-getter, and I've been called an overachiever. I know who I am. Being a mom isn't enough, but I do love being a mom. I love my children. I love family. I'm obsessed with them. I really am. And by the grace of God, I can say I have it all. Like, I really, really do. And I made sure I was intentional about everything. Did I get it right all the time? Heck no. I probably didn't get it right last week, right? Like,
give me grace.
I don't get it right all the time, but I do have it all because I do have a successful career. I really do. I love the work that I do. I love my team. I love my company. It's a Fortune 500 company. You know, I'm making the 6 figures. I may not be CEO, but it's okay though, because I need to sleep right now. Like, I don't want to have like 5 phones. Like, I don't need to do that right now. I really don't. And it's not even my time. And I know what God has called me to do. And so that's the thing, right? A lot of us are chasing after these things because, oh, I'm good at it. I love it. Just because you're good at it doesn't mean that's what God has called you to do. That may not even be the purpose. You just happen to be good at it, right? That was just a gift bestowed upon you. Awesome. Congratulations. That may not even be what you're supposed to be doing. And you're killing yourself working 90 hours trying to get to like the top of the top of the top. But guess what? In all honesty, everyone is number one in their field, right? Like, you are the number one real estate agent in the country. Is that possible? Does it flip? Are you one in your region? Are you one in your state? Do you really want to be the number one real estate agent in the United States? Or do you want to go globally? I am the number one real estate agent.
I'm definitely not chasing that.
Global.
There are some agents and moms, I'm sure, out there that are realtors, and you probably, that's your fuel, that's your goal, that's your priority.
Will you be though? But that's the truth,
I don't know.
Are you really going to be? You might be one in 2024. Are you really going to be in 2025? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel we can always go higher and higher. Like, literally, if you think about it, if I think of Mark Zuckerberg and like Beyonce, right? Because I like to follow people's careers. I study this all the time, like, right, how to get to millionaire and billionaire status or whatever, right? Beyonce is a singer, a dancer, a performer. And I mean, I guess you could put like acting, all of that under the entertainment title category bubble, right? But she can also branch out into clothing, which she has, or fragrances or whatever. Like, there's never a roof for Beyonce. Same thing with Mark Zuckerberg. Once he made Facebook go public, and, you know, people are able to invest in it and stocks and everything. Hello, you are the founder and creator of Facebook. where else are you going to go? Well, I can partner with Instagram. I can turn it into Meta. Like, there's always going to be a way to climb higher. So it's like, at this point, like, what matters to you? Just climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing and exhausting yourself? Or do you want some family? Do you want some me time along with that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel there's always another level you can reach, but do you have to be the ultimate? Do you have to be the number one? I don't think you will. To be honest, I don't really think there is a number one.
Yeah.
You know, in any field, there isn't a number one. So it's like you keep killing yourself to be the best or to be the CEO or whatever. But what are you sacrificing? And that's where you have to really be honest with yourself.
Yeah. I definitely work hard with time management and time blocking. I think I've spoken on this before. I'm huge on time blocking. And that is something that I think a lot of working moms need to do, because if you do want to make it to, you know, practice and, you know, choir and church on Sunday and family time on Saturday and your pedicure on Sunday too. And if you're trying to fit all these things in, and you want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself as a working mom, we need to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. If you're a stay-at-home mom and you're not working out on the field and your job is at home, you still need to take care of yourself. And I think that's where a lot of us fall short as women. We fall short as moms, wives. We keep doing for everybody else, and we think that that is heroic. But when we're not taking care of ourselves, what are we really doing now? We're pouring from an empty cup.
We really are. And
it's like, they're not even getting the best version of you. They're not even getting the best version.
You're not getting the best version. No one's getting the best version of you. And I've lied to myself thinking like, oh yeah, I say no. I don't take on everything. I was lying to myself. I really was taking on everything. I was like, but wait, I turned things down. Well, yeah, because Shirley, you were already at 15.
Yeah, you didn't need to add a
16 and 17 thing. You were already at 15. We need to get you back down to 10 items to do. I was like, sheesh, lying to myself. So yeah, you have to evaluate over and over. Actually, not every quarter. Look at what you're doing.
There's a lot to take in as a working mom, I think. But it's so great because there's so many women that sometimes they're the only income, or sometimes they're the breadwinner. And I think and you're still a mom. So then you carry mom guilt, or you're just exhausted. And I think being a working mom in America, it's definitely a decision that you have to make, and that you're going to have to figure out how to orchestrate. And it's just like having the band, right? You have your violin, you have the pianist, you have the saxophone in the back. You need to make it flow all together, and you need to, and that looks different for all of us. That looks different for everybody. And that depends on what your goals even are. And that also differs. Like Shirley wants to have CEO, and there's not somebody that may want all of that, right? Some people are okay where they're just like, nope, I'm okay doing this. Some people do want the extreme. Some people do want to keep going to higher heights. And some people they're just like, girl, I'm just trying to make it by the week. And I can respect both. And I think figuring out what you're trying to do, what you're trying to achieve, putting your priorities in place, what's the most important thing? How do you make sure you're focusing on those things individually? How does this work for you? And making sure that you're focusing on yourself, because you're going to have to show up to each and every single one of those things that you're putting on your plate, and you need to be there.
And not half-ass it either, excuse my language.
No, at all.
You know, you just mentioned something that was really so important. With regards to like what you choose to do, right? Before you start prioritizing, please take a look at where you're operating from. So I lived with a single mom, not that like we lacked or anything, but I just didn't want to ever, live paycheck to paycheck, or just be afraid of like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to do this for my children, or I'm not going to be able to do this bill. So that mentality made me hunger for money. My priority was money. And how am I going to get it? It wasn't about materialistic things. It wasn't even about like having the latest or whatever, because I'm not even that. I'm actually really cheap. God help me. I'm so cheap. I am cheap too, right? Because again, I was raised by a single mom. So I'm cheap, but I want to make enough money so that we never have to worry about money ever again, right? Where am I operating from? A place of fear. So
Yes.
now I don't even know, had I lived in a 2-parent household, like, would I be this overachiever mindset? Like, where did it all come from?
Right.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think God kind of made me like this too. It's like a little overachiever and gotta go
It's
after
definitely all in there. But I think, and we've talked about being in different seasons where you you have to know where you're at in that time, right? You have to know where you're at, and you have to keep readjusting. So I see it as like this wheel, and it's like you have this act that you're going to do, and then you have to adjust or reassess, and then re-aim, and then go back. It's like this cycle that goes on because life keeps changing. Something that was working for you while your children were in their toddler years isn't going to necessarily work when they're in their teen years. So you have to keep readjusting, and you think you got it all figured out. Then you have to readjust again because you're going to have to be called in other areas. And that's where you have to take a step back and then reevaluate and then go ahead and put that all back into action and understand and know that you're definitely capable of doing it. It's all about at least planning, and not to a T. I'm not saying every day is going to be perfect, but you have to at least plan accordingly and set yourself up for success.
Yeah, I thought like as children get older and more independent, life would be easier because like back then you had to potty train.
Lie.
Sorry, you had to change lies they tell you. Secrets they hold.
It's just different. It's the same. It's just different.
As they get older, and because now they're no longer under your control, and you're now working with social media and other influences. Like now, I can't even really be working. I can't even do the CEO thing because I need to make sure I'm setting you up to be a responsible citizen, right? And I'm influencing you, not like
right.
Ricky Bobby. Like I got to make sure that I am, infusing the right morals in you, building a great character in you. You make wise decisions. We got to deal with like so many movements out there that you're not getting affected.
Yeah.
Like I really have to like hone down on you and make sure I'm instilling everything that I absolutely can before I release you to the world, which is scary already in itself, right? So like I feel I even have to take a step back in my whole like quest to this career so that I'm really building training up a child in the right way, and really following Christ. But another thing that you had mentioned earlier, like when it came to seasons, right? Like, and I speak with my mentor about this because I'm like, I was such an overachiever, doing crazy things or whatever, and somehow like balancing mommy duties out and wifey duties out. But like now I'm in like my rest season, right? That's where God has me. But because I'm wired like this, I'm so lazy, I'm not doing anything or whatever. So I say this because like, ladies, we need to check ourselves too. Do not go put additional stuff on your plate just because this actually is your rest season. This is the time you are supposed to be enjoying your children during like their teenage years, right? Yeah. This is the time you're supposed to be enjoying rest. Enjoy. Don't go and look for things. I'm looking for things to put on my plate.
And I think
let me work a full-time job and add this podcast.
And just being in the work field too, I feel like just being a mom when you're in the work field and them even giving you guilt, like, well, this is what the demand is for this job. And it's like, if you already know that you're going to be, stepping away from things at home in order to fulfill this job or this career, and that, I think the work field has become a lot friendlier to moms, and they try to work with moms because there's so many working moms. And I love that for all of you women, because I think it's so important that our jobs and our careers and our workspace, that they are respectful of our first job, which is typically at home, right? That our first job is at home. So I think where we're working is also setting us up for success, setting that tone and making sure you say, listen, I'm going to do damn good at this, but I also have to make sure that my priorities are all set. And I need to make sure that I'm able to balance the two and make sure that we can make this work and coincide with each other. And I need to take care of myself because I need to be prioritized as well. So if you're going to make sure that you have all this oomph to get through those toddler years, and then you thought it was going to get easier, now you're at the teenage years, and now you're just like, wait a minute, hold up. How did we get here? Why is this not easing up? And it just changes, and everything keeps changing around you, and even you're relearning yourself, and you're leveling up in different ways because now your resume is growing. And I think that it's important for us to let everybody know exactly what our expectations are. When you're going for an interview, not only are they interviewing you, you need to interview them. You need to see what they are going to be able to be flexible with you as a working mom and understand that you also have other priorities that you need to make sure that you're attending to, and not just this job that can fill your position and fill your seat, because no matter what, you can achieve everything that you want. But if you feel at home and you feel your children and you feel your husband, you're not going to feel fulfilled by just work at all.
You're not. At some point, you have to retire. At some point, your body's going to be like, you need to sit down.
Yeah.
We're done. Okay. We're done.
Clock
Your
out.
mind may keep going, but the body is done. And then who are you surrounded by?
Right.
Like,
And what do you have
is
left?
always important to me. Yeah.
What if even if they're still there, Shirley? What is there? It's not the quantity, the quality. Like, what is there? What did you create? What memories did you make?
The memories.
So I think that is a lot to talk about still, but I know that a lot of moms deal with this day in and day out, and it's a struggle sometimes. Right? Fair to say. I have 3 children. Shirley has 2. And sometimes I think there's women out there with like 5, 6 kids. And I'm just like, whoo, I get tired just watching them. Just watching you because you're all
with no
so
housekeeper,
amazing.
no nanny.
No, none of that. Okay, so take the celebrities out of it who literally have their whole team, okay? Sometimes we got to depend on the village, the family, bring them into the equation. But what about just our basic women here that are just the everydayers, that we're just like, we're in the grit sometimes, and it's us. We the team.
We're the team. I never believed in babysitters. Like, nah, not happening. I don't trust you. You ain't watching my children. Nope.
Very true.
I was home with my children for the first 2 years. I guess I'm not working then. It doesn't even matter because my paycheck was going to go to the daycare anyways. But nope. Until my children could speak and tell me, oh, this person is being mean to me, or I didn't like the way this person talked to me or touched me. You're home with me. Mm-hmm. It's cheaper that way. I'll go to jail if somebody ever misbehaves. So
we're not taking any chances. We're not taking any chances. I see how this can go. We're gonna be proactive.
Peter and Shirley and my mom, we're the babysitters.
Associates.
That's it.
I hear you.
Oh my gosh. I listen, this was a great conversation. Moms, first and foremost, you, like Miss Lily said, you have to take care of yourself.
Yes.
Because you cannot pour from an empty cup. Take care of yourself. Identify what might be contributing to your go-getter attitude. Or you wanting to be home, right? Was it always in you to be a stay-at-home mom? Or was it because your mom was out and about that you're choosing to be a stay-at-home mom and not going after your purpose? I don't know, right? So let's self-reflect. Let's make sure we're not making decisions based on trauma. And then once you identify what type of career or what type of homemaker you want to pursue, all right, then let's make sure it aligns with what God has destined for us. prioritize, get that calendar, do those time blocks, set aside time for yourself, please. Set aside time for your family.
Absolutely.
And, making sure you're giving, you do have to give 100%, right? You have to give 100% to your job. You have to give 100% to your family. It may not be at all the time, but you have to give 100% because you have to make sure you're doing everything you possibly can. Again, it may not be every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, but at the end of the week, dag nabbit, I gave it my all.
Yeah, and moms, you're doing amazing. Like you just, this is a little 30-minute video, so to speak, and it sounds all great and we're romanticizing it, and then life really happens, right? You are doing amazing. You are doing your best. You will continue to do better as you continue to progress. Still in what you need to do as far as learning how to master your craft. And if that is, working and being a mom or being a family, whatever that looks like, just master it. Master it completely where it's able to flow and it's able to work together and you're able to kind of, be happy with what you're doing and not feeling completely drained and feeling like you are not fulfilling your purpose, because that's not what you want to do. So I think you're all doing amazing.
Oh, some emergency. Oh, that's your tornado warning.
That's the tornado outside. And we're gonna, just carry on with that. But I definitely, we're gonna have to
end right there. There's a tornado coming.
We're gonna end right there. Okay, the newscaster who's not there anymore, who got replaced, they said there's a news alert, and okay, so that's where we're ending. But you're all doing amazing. Seriously, you're doing
really
great.
are.
I'm proud of you. If somebody hasn't
we're
told you that in
proud
a long time, we're proud of you. We know what it takes to be a working mom, and it's a lot. So don't stop giving yourself grace, okay, girl? Pat yourself on that back because you deserve it. You're doing it all.
Well, my multitasking mom, go get your kids, go undercover, go stock up on supplies. She's fine. Thank you so much for joining us today. Always excited on Kingdom Conversation. Always an exciting time. Never know what's going to happen. But thank you so much for tuning in. Moms, wives, thank you for tuning in.
Yes,
everyone else, we love you. We appreciate you and the support. Have a blessed remainder of your week. Okay?
Take care. Bye.